if you really want to put yourself out there, you enter this tournament. I think that's the reality of, you know, we want to be competing with the best continuously, and the safe thing to do would be to, you know, go and play some weaker opposition, but we want to keep moving forward. To be honest, this camp and beyond is the start of a new journey. So the messaging is, we've climbed one mountain, but we're going to have to go and climb a completely different mountain. The qualifiers and the World Cup is very, very different to what you need to be able to compete at an Olympic Games. So for us, it's the start of a new journey. What you'll see is a very confident England squad. You've seen their results, although you would argue they haven't been massively tested of recently. But I think that team will be you know, flying, because they've got a home Euros, they're on home soil. And as you know, a Canada-England game is always a really difficult and competitive test. And then you go and add the quality that the Germans have, and then Spain, in terms of, like, you've got a massive amount of, I think really Spain are probably the team that a lot of people are talking about as well for the Euros. You know, you've got Champions League winners, etc. So 3 massively difficult competition games, which will give us great competition and a chance to assess us against European opposition. Because I think when you look, this upcoming World Cup, it's got more Europeans than ever before, 11 teams. You're probably going to get maybe 2 in your group. And as we know from the last World Cup, 7 of the 8 in the knockout rounds were from Europe. So we have to get experience of playing European teams, because I would say historically it's been a bit of a sticking point for us in big moments. So great opportunity on the new journey to be tested. Yeah, I think, listen, it's going to be, we've got short term of a qualification. So normally you get a rebuilding year, and we don't have that. And so probably what you're going to start to see in the next 6 months, once we get our youth tournaments sort of, you know, we get to see them be tested against the US, Mexico, that youth system has been almost not dormant, but very much haven't had anything that normally is that recycle that we normally get. So I'm really excited to see under 20, under 17, see who jumps out of that. But I think there is a reality that this group that just did the Olympics have also gone and done something that we've never done before. So I can't discredit the players that were involved for that. I think the team that's needed in 2023 might be different to the team that was needed in 2021. And I think that's now the exciting part, where every player that comes into camp now is fighting for a spot for both a qualification and a World Cup. So it'll be a blend, as we always are, a blend of veterans, new faces. I think we need to keep re-injecting, and then that middle group who've got that great experience of probably two medals in their back pocket. No, and I think, to be honest, going into this particular, it feels like a new start. When I first got the job, it's almost a whole year since She Believes, and I feel that hunger, energy to set a new vision. In this particular camp, I think that the 2 camps post the Olympics, you had the celebration tour, and then we obviously had Mexico, where we had a lot of challenges around roster and altitude and a whole load of things, but it gave us some vital experience. But I think now there's a line in the sand where, yes, that Olympic medal happened, but actually I want to move beyond the medal, and we have to set that new vision and, you know, tweak some things that'll help us longer term as a team. So it's been crazy. It's been a busy, I would say, 2021, but 2022 feels very fresh and sort of new direction. And like I say, climb that new mountain. That's where we're off to. Yeah, I think I'm really keeping a close eye. I watched Julia yesterday, actually. She played, and she got about 72 minutes. So she's obviously getting more and more game time in that setting. What I will say is, what I always found with Julia, and particularly a couple of the players that were coming from NCAA, it took them a while when we were in camp to get up to speed with, I guess, full-time professional players. And so I know that move is only going to help Julia mindset-wise, physically, technically, tactically. So I'm really excited to what Julia Grosso can become. I think hopefully she comes into this camp more ready than she's ever been, to really make a push. So yeah, I think it'll be a great move for her. And watching her yesterday, you know, she really belongs in that Juventus team, and I know our coach Joe believes in her ability a lot. So I'm excited to see what comes in. Yeah, definitely. So we're planning for a home game in Canada in April. We're just finalising the details of that. But yeah, we obviously want to bring the team back home and give our fans, young girls and boys who want to see the team on home ground, a chance to see them in April. Yeah, I think I wouldn't use the to lose. I think Kaylin, we all know what Kaylin can do. She does it week in, week out at NWSL. I think it's a great opportunity, and I think Kaylin is more than ready, and probably was ready pre-Olympics too. You know, it's just great that we've had that level of competition, particularly between Steph and Kaylin, and it's only pushed Steph to be where she got to in the Olympics. But I think it's a great opportunity for Kaylin. She's ready. She was ready, you know, a while ago, and now she just gets the chance to move forward. But I won't discredit, you know, what Erin McLeod brings in terms of some real experience and mentorship around that, and Sabrina, and then the new face in Devon. So I think what's really important and what I value more than anything is what having a close goalkeeping group does to push goalkeepers to be better. I think, like I say, we've seen that in the summer. So yeah, got every faith in what Kaylin can bring for this team now and in the future. Yeah, I think Nichelle, for me, was very, very consistent, and probably like really earned her way to be a starting player in the Olympic Games. I think, you know, what you get in Nichelle is not just on the pitch, like an unbelievable person. I think she's a bit of a nightmare to deal with, anybody that comes up against her, and probably can play anywhere across the front three, which is massive, obviously, when you're in tournament football. This series, you know, again, with all of those out of season players, it'll be a chance to see where they're at physically, but that might have an impact on how much they can feature across the 3 games. But Nichelle is a critical player for us, was critical in getting us on the podium, and will be moving forward. Yeah, I think, listen, naturally, we probably landed on the podium from being a really difficult team to beat. I think that's who we are. We'll work harder than anyone we play. For sure, we're very front-footed. But I think where we need to move to is also being a big threat, you know, at the other end. So being world-class in our own box, which we are, but moving towards being much better in the opposition's box too. So yeah, I think you're going to experience a difficult game. I know that playing against Germany will be an incredibly difficult game too. But I think that's the DNA of this team, is a really, really difficult team to beat. Yeah, I think, you know, history and results would say that, like, on our day, we can compete with all of those teams. I think, yeah, like, you look, all of those teams in the top 10, it's closer than it's ever been. I think FIFA rankings now, they stand for something, but they also can be misleading, because I think the women's game has moved so far. Any team in that top 10 could go and win a World Cup, a Euros, and that's what you're probably going to see in this particular tournament. It's going to be tight, and all 3 teams will be really competitive. Yeah, I think absolutely. I know that when you put yourself in that arena more often, it's going to stand you long term to be in a better place. If you look at the Olympics, we had to play probably, I don't know, 4 Tier 1 teams to get there, and you know, that's ultimately what you're going to come up against in the big moments. And I think, again, with 2023 in mind, we absolutely are going to end up facing probably one of these 3 teams in a critical moment. And so that is crucial for us. I think what I know is, when I'm assessing players, and even us as staff, when you play these level of opposition, every minute counts on the sideline. You know, every touch matters. Like, I think this is the place that you learn, you grow, you develop. And I think it's a starting point now, a new journey. Do I think we'll turn up and absolutely blow this tournament out the water? Absolutely not, because you've got 3 unbelievable teams, and you've got a team coming in with, you know, some players out of season. But what you have got is a team that will give everything to try and win this tournament at the same time. Yeah, I think both of those I was aware of and had great reputations when I was in England. Andy obviously was at the FA, and Jen, to be fair, as well, at youth level. But, you know, I know the experiences that you go through in that setting, some of the best practices, some of the processes, the level of players you've worked with. And, you know, in many ways, Andy's been a number 1 and he gets it. But what you would say is Mo Marley, who I highly, you know, I admire and is an unbelievable coach, would tell you he's an unbelievable number 2. Jen Hurst is a set play specialist. It's something I think we can improve on. So both of them are massively going to add to our team and where it needs to head. And I think I've hired not only some great practitioners, but some unbelievable people. And I think that's the most important thing. Yeah, I think, and obviously a lot of our scouting happens over video, but what I would say I've seen from Marie in her time in Norway, Norway's a very physical league. What I've seen from her on the pitch, she can massively cover ground, is athletic, could play quickly. And I think those three things, if you look at the makeup of our team, the way we play, and probably where we need to head in the future, those traits I've seen. And I'd heard great things, not only from seeing the video footage, but from people who'd sort of seen her and worked with her over a period of time. And so that was the decision, is, scouting her game, seeing what she could bring. It's just a different quality that she could add in our midfield. But again, until you get them in camp and you're working with them and around our players, it's always difficult to really know. What I always say to a new face coming in is, you've got nothing to lose. It's just an opportunity, particularly in this setting, to even train. And then if you blow us out the water and you get on the pitch, it's even better. Yeah, so Devon I actually had with Riley Foster in my first under-17 World Cup in 2014. And Devon, athletic, great shot stopper, very sort of Canadian traits around our goalkeeping group. So I think with Devon, again, I just said to her, it's a great opportunity for me to assess you alongside our keepers. Devon has been the number 2 in NWSL, and so the level of game time hasn't been there. So I thought that this window was a great opportunity to assess her. What I know of her historically is she's a great goalkeeper, and we need to keep sort of expanding that pool, given Steph's retirement and where we're heading in the future. So I think Devon will be a great addition and a good chance to see her, in the training setting.
And you mentioned looking to finalize a game in April, perhaps in Canada. Would that potentially be at BC Place?
I can't confirm that, but being my sort of hometown, I would love for it to be there. So we're working on plans at the minute to have it all finalised. Yeah, I think, like you talk about the success, probably the hardest part is yet to come when you've gone and done that. It's actually the next 2 years that are probably harder than the last year, when maybe there was little expectation and scrutiny. So I think the first thing this team has to get used to is that, where there's a greater expectation and scrutiny, not only on the players, on the staff. I think that's going to be a great challenge for us. But at the same time, I think we've got some key areas, doing a whole review after the Olympic Games. We need to score more goals on set plays. We know that in World Cups, 30% of goals are scored in that area. That's definitely an area that we want to look to improve. Obviously, scoring more goals in general. Any person, scout, coach, watching Canada would say that, and that's something that's high on our agenda, for sure. But we can't lose what it is that made us successful. It's in the DNA of our team. We're athletic, we're front-footed, but at the same time, we do need to add that next layer of scoring more goals and being more ruthless. And that'll come right through a process. We're not going to focus on the outcomes. It'll come over time. We've definitely put some key metrics and things in place that we know leads to more goals, and that's what we're going after.